What's up? Welcome back to another episode of Dev Talks with your host Travian, where we talk about everything technology, engineering wise, and we just take a deep dive into it and try to provide another outlook into these kinds of stuff because there's a lot to go over. Like technology is constantly growing and things, and now we have a whole new format this year that we're going to be following. And this new format, we'll be able to do so much more than I was able to do last year with the audio only. Mind you, I'm still releasing audio only stuff to people just in case, but we have more video content. We can do more stuff with the video. We can make more things. And like as I said, clearing stuff up. Every episode we're going to get better. Every single episode I'm going to try to get better, and I'm going to try to deliver more content and stuff because this is a weekly podcast, but now with this format, I might be able to crunch out more videos. Who knows? Just flood the system, see how we grow. But the only way we do that is if everybody likes, comments, and subscribes. And don't forget to comment. I would love to engage with everybody down there in the comments. I would love to um, see what you guys think, clarify anything that may not understand why I'll be covering certain stuff because there's certain videos, like certain ones we're going to go over today. We're going to look over certain videos and try to play catch up this month. And also we're going to bring in a lot of new news in this month as well too. This month is packed already. I already have a bunch of ideas and things like that. So we get to go over a plethora of different ideas. Stuff is coming out left, right, and center every single week. So that means these episodes may get longer, but I might be able to bring out more stuff on the weekly basis during certain days. Maybe give you guys something on the weekends. Maybe give you guys something earlier in the week. That's helpful too. Whatever you guys think you need, I'm gonna try to make it better. We're gonna try to do this together. We're gonna try to continue to grow and do things in a better way. But as I said, there's so much going on. There's so much going on, and this episode alone, we have a lot. We have a lot to talk about. A lot's been announced, and we have a lot to like just put our opinions on and things. I want to try to give a certain light and aspect to doing to certain information provided to me because I'm here to learn too. I want to know what's going on, but I also want to help other people learn in case you missed it. Like some people might not have seen some of the videos or the articles that we're going over. Some people might need help and might be confused about certain stuff. So that it's part of my personal experience as a software engineer, but also you guys, if you guys have anything to say that you want to add, drop it in the comments and help each other. Just everything that we're trying to do, just grow, learn, and help. So without further ado, let's dive in because we got a lot to cover and we don't have all the time in the world. So let's dive in. Okay, so as I said, we are going to be pulling certain stuff from last year, possibly like towards the end of last year, some news that came out last year, and why I did certain stuff. But I also, if you didn't watch the last episode, go watch that. We talked about the top 5 tech companies of 2023, and I really wanted to cover something that I saw and why 2 companies made the list there, and they were, and one was may shock you, like so Rivian was number 5, and Amazon was number 2, I believe. On yeah, Amazon was number 2 on the list of for the companies that I put down there. So we actually I said that I wanted to go over a certain video that I had saw about some information on why I chose to do that. And some people already knew this stuff, some people don't. So as I said, I'm going into this, but this video and this topic is going to lead into another point and it's going to lead into the next thing, and I want to kind of have something that's more fluent and stuff. So the first thing that we have to talk about is this. So if you don't see this way, um Amazon has been doing certain stuff with some robots, and then they're also looking at different ways to deliver their orders and things like that. So they're trying to progress like every other company is trying to progress. Everywhere is trying to get better. Everywhere is trying to go from there. So the we actually have some of the reasons why. This is why I put Amazon and Rivian on the list of the top 5. So we have this, so we just dive right into what
From
they're
robots to
talking about.
artificial intelligence, Amazon says it's revolutionizing the way consumers get their orders. It comes as e-commerce sales are predicted to grow at least 10% this holiday season, reaching $278 billion, according to Deloitte. Amazon alone estimated to deliver 13.5 million parcels each day.
And it's all about innovation. I'm inside Boss 27. This is a state-of-the-art facility.
This is crazy. So, just as started, like, they say this is to help with demand and stuff, and this is a facility that only has robotics here. Like, there's no people like working on any of these delivered orders or setting up none of this stuff. And like, just look at
just
them.
outside of
They're all on
Boston,
a
and
file
with me now
line.
is
They're programmed
Amazon's
to be
chief
like this. It's
technologist
kind
for
of crazy.
robotics, Ty Brady. Ty, thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
So this is the first time the public will see some of the new technology you are rolling out for the holidays. What happens in a lab like this?
We are reimagining the future of robotics so that you can do your holiday shopping even better.
Today, Amazon launches Sequoia, its brand new robotic system in Houston. The company says it's capable of stocking merchandise 75% more quickly and delivering your orders 25% faster.
What was the problem?
So let's stop with this because I think it's very important about something. Holiday season's coming around. It just passed, and honestly, I don't know if I noticed any changes and stuff. Mind you, this is only in Houston, but this is something that they're going to try to bring out to the greater level of people. They're going to try to put this all around America, probably, depending on how this test goes with this fully robotic warehouse. And I bet you only people that are here are people that can fix and maintenance the robots. And here's a few things. They say it works. It organizes something 75%. Let's go back real quick. 75% quicker. It also
more quickly and delivering your orders 25
helps you deliver stuff 25% faster. I guess it helps load the truck so they can get deliveries out quicker, and then it just organizes all the orders way faster as well too. So there's a few ways that how they're able to do this, and I'm really curious about how this is going to go on because robots don't have rights for the most part. So they could just work them and work this warehouse 24/7. Besides when, like, I guess the robots might need a charge. They might have them on certain shifts. Who knows? I never got to step into this is questions that I would have asked if I would have gone there. What happens when some of these robots need powered down? Like, we saw those mini robots carrying in the file line, just taking stuff to the conveyor belt that are just carrying packages. What happens to those? Like, how are they charged? How are you maintaining which ones stay on the clock, which ones are off, and things? And they're just saying that this is overall way more efficient to have robots in warehouses than people. And I was saying in another video about how robotics are going, depending on how this goes and how Amazon's going to do it, other companies are going to do this as well. You might see the mail room start doing this. You might see UPS. You might see FedEx start doing something like this. Like, any of those whole package companies and things like that, you may or may not see them do this. And it's actually kind of crazy, and it might be scary, but it's going to impact a lot of people's lives and stuff. It's like when all the jobs went out of the US for like warehouse and manufacturing jobs and things like that, so that companies can get them done for cheaper. This is going to be them trying to do some of this stuff for cheaper, and they're finding ways to do it with robotics and technology. And it doesn't really help the normal people who do work these jobs, because what it's going to do is take away from a lot of this. And I always brought up the point about, well, even though it takes away jobs, it still does create jobs, because but we're in I don't feel like they equate to each other. They definitely do not equate to each other. So there's a few things going on right now. So if you're an engineer, and especially if you're a new entry engineer, and we're gonna get into all of this stuff later, you cannot it's so hard to get a job. And it's in any engineer jobs, you have to apply to so many jobs. I remember trying to get my internship, how hard it was to get my internship and things, and how much you just have to apply, and how much you have to practice to try to get these new positions, and how much you have to do all this other work just so that you can be able to become this. So what this is going to do is going to create some AI jobs. It's going to create some other engineering jobs, so robotics jobs, some engineering jobs for the maintenance and things of them, some more programming jobs for programming how these robotics function and whatnot. But it is overwhelmingly going to do that. But that number of jobs, I don't think is going to equate to the harm that it's going to do to the average person's job, who just goes there to sort it themselves and things like that. And I know Amazon does, like, of course, people do steal from their warehouses and things like that, but they get caught. Some people get caught and things. So they can try to say that they're trying to prevent theft. They can say they're trying to make stuff become a lot quicker and better and things, but it is going to do a lot of harm to the average people who are working there. But it is going to cut their costs down crazy, because they'll have less people maintaining this, and they don't need nobody to do this. If this works the way it's supposed to, they won't need nobody to do that unless there's an incident. And trust me, incidents can happen, but it might be a reason why certain manufacturing places are going to be only robotics only, so that certain incidents can't happen. And we may get into something about that later. So let's just continue real quick.
5% faster.
What was the problem you were trying to solve with Sequoia?
We want to offer a wider selection for our customers. We want to do that in a very efficient manner so they can pass on a low cost to our customers.
Brady says Sequoia also makes it safer for employees, reducing the number of accidents and repetitive stress injuries.
So you don't have to get on a ladder, you don't have to bend down on your knees, you don't have to...
See, like, we was just talking about accidents that can possibly happen. These little mini bots that you see driving around and stuff, they can't trip you and make you fall if you don't work in there. They can't do any of that kind of stuff. You don't have to do any extra labor, because there's nobody there to do the labor. It's only them. So that means they don't have to pay for any accidental insurances and things that happen like that in their warehouse. And people get that time off for being hurt. They don't have to pay for those injuries that happen, and worry about paying for that. They don't have to worry about none of it, because they're not going to be working in there. And all the engineers mainly going to be working from remote. And unless the people who are maintaining the spaces and stuff, they gonna be in there, but watching and maintaining, taking their shifts. But you can't hurt nobody if nobody works there. Only thing that can happen is these robots run into each other and they might break themselves.
Reach up really high.
They're able to bring these totes from the warehouse to a workstation like this, where I met up with David Guerin, who helped design and build Sequoia.
A machine has gotten this item out of the warehouse, brought it over here, and now what happens?
Now the associate finds the item that's up on the screen, so we can take it out.
This is a yellow phone case?
We scan it.
Okay.
We put it in a tote to be sent to another part of the building for packaging. We let the system know it's in there, and then this will cycle through and deliver us another tote to pick something else out of.
And just how do those towers move around? Meet Hercules. Today is graduation day. The finished robots form a line and drive themselves onto their own shipping pallets, where they'll head off to work at fulfillment centers around the world.
They've been treating the robots just like people. So they have a graduation. If they pass their tests and stuff like that, they get to be shipped to go to other places to make them more efficient and things. So I mean,
He's also introducing
it speaks for
Digit.
itself.
This new bipedal robot can grab and move orders in warehouse spaces not designed for humans.
So I think something a lot of people are curious about is what happens between the time they click buy now and the product arrives at their doorstep. You're going to walk me through that.
Sounds good.
Okay, so I'm going to buy what is a bestseller on Amazon right now.
All right, very good.
The Instant Pot. It's going to be hot this holiday too.
Be hot, right on your phone, ready to go.
Okay, I'm going to add it to my cart.
By the time you did that,
Yeah.
I've sourced every Instant Pot inside our network to figure out what's the best way to bring that to your house.
The system found my Instant Pot at a fulfillment center in Penns Grove, New Jersey. From there, it was driven to Carteret, New Jersey, where it was boxed, labeled, and loaded onto another truck, headed for a distribution center in the Bronx. That's where the delivery van picked it up and dropped it off the next day at 6:48 p.m. to me.
Welcome to my office.
The company also has more than 10,000 Rivian electric vehicles.
I said it. This is why, right here, this is why I said Rivian is number 5. You're telling me a company that got a contract or whatever they got going on to get 10,000 fleet vans made for them so that they can deliver with electric vans is not up there? They're not making headway, especially for last year. 10,000. They made 10,000 Rivian vans, and like it speaks for
Vans
itself.
across
That's
the
this one of
U.S.
the
to
main
reduce its
reasons.
environmental impact. Branson Ramirez drives one.
I can do about 150 stops.
One thing that I'm confused about, electric cars, they say helps the environment and everything, but one of the things that I want to know is, can the companies track these electric vans a lot easier than they were tracking their other vans? Like, if tracking is way better than that, that's a plus on their side too, because they can see where all their vans go. It's easier to track them and all of that stuff.
Maybe 250 to 300 packages.
New technology evolving to get us what we want faster and more sustainably this holiday season.
And here's the thing, Amazon is not alone in gearing up for the holidays. Retailers across the board are also getting ready. Walmart opened 3 new fulfillment centers, 36 drone delivery hubs, and Target is adding 100,000 workers just for this holiday shopping season.
I mean,
guys.
it all looks cool, especially the robots.
Yeah.
But you do have to wonder about the folks who used to actually have those jobs, like the people.
I was just saying this.
And that is a question I asked when we were there. And Amazon insists their data proves otherwise, that they are adding jobs as they are adding robotics. They, in fact, say that they've added hundreds of thousands of new jobs and 700 job categories. But yes, you're right. The person who might be lifting those shelves or lifting those totes is a different person. They may now need to brush up on engineering skills or...
See, we just talked about how it's going to create all these new engineering jobs and things like that, but it's not going to help the average person. Engineering isn't something you can just brush up on. It's really not, and it's definitely not made for everybody. It comes with a lot of stress getting through like college or getting through any of that kind of stuff, and when you're actually on the job, it can produce a lot of stress in your life, especially if you're not ready for that kind of work. So it can be way more stressful than the job that they're doing. It's not something you can brush up on. It takes time. It takes a lot of time to really get your engineering skills up to there, especially to move into this kind of space. And a lot of people are moving into this space. And mind you, like, there's a crisis, right? Kind of a job market crisis going on for engineering jobs right now, like how hard it is to get them. But like, it's hard. Like, it's hard. It's not something you can brush up on. And I do not agree with what she's saying right there. Like, not at all. Most of those people would just probably work at another warehouse or work somewhere else and things. It's some of them might be in this school and they already are engineers trying to progress over and things, but this is just something that's just not true. I don't believe it's going to be true. I don't think they're going to be able to replace the jobs as quickly as they're going to be getting rid of them if they do it a certain way. So if they are producing these jobs, they most likely will be producing these jobs right now, filling them up, and then once when they're filled, all those other people are gone, and it's gonna be quick. Like they might not have that much time to prepare. I mean, you know what's coming now because it's out in the news, but you might not have the time to fully prepare about it and go about all that stuff. So I mean, it's tough. It's really tough. Speaking from experience, it's not as easy as something you can just brush off.
Different kinds of critical thinking. But the idea is really interesting because they want to remove anything that's mundane and allow humans to use higher level critical thinking skills, things that make us more human. So that's the goal with these robots.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Vicki.
Yeah.
Hey, thank
So that was segment number 1 of today. And we have so much to go over. Like, as I said, there's a lot going on now. There's a lot that's changing constantly. And that's just something, that last part that she said, I can't really agree with what she said about brushing up on your skills, but it is something that if you actually want to be an engineer and be passionate about it, you need to look at what kind of space you're trying to specialize in, because specialization is so key for engineers. It's actually so key that they're actually bringing up more jobs for different departments and things. And as we know, last year, AI was something crazy. AI went so crazy last year, and it actually affected the way that certain engineers would specialize into stuff. So one of the things that people specialized in was AI. And the next thing we have going on right here is about
Welcome back,
people
everybody.
getting jobs
Generative
and
AI.
things. Before I get this started, anybody who's new to getting into engineering and stuff like that, please take a look at what you really want to do. Before you even go there, see if you really want to be an engineer. Don't make it just because of the money, because it causes so much stress. If it causes too much stress for you and you're just doing it for the money, you're going to get burnt out so much easier than people who actually like doing this work, because it requires a lot of critical thinking, problem solving, requires a lot of time to do certain stuff and work, and you're going to run into a lot of problems on your day-to-day life. So not to steer you away, but just keep this in mind. I have a friend who is trying to get into front end and full stack development right now, and it's hard for him to try to find a place that he can thrive and be in appropriately. So I mean, it's not as easy as people may think, but if you look at how many jobs are open up, like Amazon just said that they're starting up all these AI jobs and robotics things, and they're going to create all these hundreds of thousands of positions and 700 roles, different roles. They mainly going to revolve around AI, and here's some more
Generating
information.
opportunity in the labor market, with job postings climbing 6,000% this year. Kate Rooney has more. Kate?
Hey, Tyler, that's right. So workers want to get in on that buzz around ChatGPT and generative AI. There's been a surge in interest in AI-related jobs, according to Indeed. Searches that include AI were up 20-fold. The CEO tells me there's not nearly enough jobs, though, available to keep up with that demand.
So there's about a 500% increase in the number of jobs that mention generative AI. There's about a 6,000% increase in the demand from job seekers for these jobs. But there still is, I think, a mismatch the other way, in that the total amount of demand for AI talent far outstrips the number of AI professionals.
So last year created a buzz. Everybody wanted to be an AI engineer, work with machine learning, and jobs are looking for people. Trust me, they're looking for people. But one of the things that stuck out that he just said right there is that the number of people interested in doing it and the number of people who are talented in doing it are outweighing what is there, and there's not enough jobs to fulfill all this need and want. Trust me, there's other parts that you can specialize in and things, but he's saying that there's not as many people who are able to fit the roles as they are seeking them and stuff, and it may be causing a lot more chaos around the whole engineering job market with people applying and applying and applying and applying and trying to get better and things like that, because these jobs are trying to sort through what they want, what they're looking for appropriately, and it's way harder to do that when you have such a surplus and demand for the needing the positions filled and also people wanting them filled and wanting to fill the positions. So
it is still a small subset of overall job searches. It's less than 1% at this point. Indeed, also pointing out a surprising resilience this year in that labor market, despite recession predictions and then the Fed's tightening. Even in tech, where we've seen waves of layoffs and steep valuation declines, workers have largely been able to find open positions. Certain areas, though, not holding up as well. Software development job postings down 51%, information design down 44%, mathematics down 40%. These are also sectors that boomed during.
See, like, so many people got laid off and things. COVID really inflated the number of engineers that were in companies, and companies thought they were doing way better than what was probably they actually were doing. So this is basically the result of inflating the market and them having so many people that they actually didn't need, and them trying to cut on cost and letting everybody go from these positions and them having to refine new places. And they also emphasized again there that if you are trying to get an AI, it's only part of 1% of the market, but it's just too many people trying to go after that one last slice of cake. That one last slice of cake everybody wants. It's hard to get a job in that, and that's really tough. It's really rough. I'm glad that I have a job right now and I have my career right now being a software engineer. It's an amazing thing just being able to have that kind of security, especially with all of this going on.
During the pandemic, some of that is mean reversion here, and these happen to also be the areas Indeed says are the most at risk for AI disruption. They do say the drop is more about valuations and corporate belt tightening, not necessarily the imminent threat of AI. And then, guys, the Bay Area, where I'm sitting right now, it's way underperforming. Job postings are down 30% compared to a national average of 16%, Indeed says.
I feel like the Bay Area thing is, this is also another thing that resulted in COVID, for one. And then two, it's also how jobs are posted and where you're allowed to work, which is also part of a big thing in COVID. So yeah, some engineers did work remotely before COVID happened, but when COVID happened, it brought a widespread to, hey, I don't need to move to San Francisco anymore, the tech capital of the world. I can just stay at home, I can work, I can get stuff done and go about my business, versus having to go all the way to the city and them opening more jobs in that city, or even in America in general. They can just have people from all around the country or the globe work remotely and then still attend meetings, get their work done and stuff like that. So that's the reason why job postings in the area are down. So I would say that's kind of contradicting itself, because a lot of them jobs are now remote. You don't have to work in the cities anymore, to that specific city anymore, to be able to get that tech jobs for that.
As it's likely due to about half of the jobs listed here having a remote option. Back to you.
That's really interesting. I do want to go back to this, though, where we are seeing the bigger job postings, or I guess drop in job postings that aren't AI related. How easy is it for those prospective employees to be able to sort of switch gears and apply the skills they already have to some of these more generative AI focused openings? Or is there going to be reskilling involved?
Yeah, you would think software development, mathematics, those are things that go hand in hand with generative AI, and it is sort of a broad term, right? If you can interact with generative AI, if you can find a way to use it and really become proficient at ChatGPT, you're likely going to find those opportunities, those skilled workers, things like those talents.
I have to pause there because she's half right. She's half right because everybody should be knowing how to use generative AI to their best ability. It is a tool that you should be using so that you can make your life easier and better and going above all of that. But she's not right in part of, like, if you're way skilled in that, that's where it is. A lot of AI stuff and programming is based off your knowledge around that kind of experience. What experience do you have with the machine learning modules, all of that stuff? It's not how good you can use chat gpt. So I don't want the misconception to spread that if you know how to use chat gpt good, that you're gonna get these AI jobs. I don't think that's the case at all. Like, it's not how you use the AI at all, really. It's actually know the inner workings of AI and making generative AI, and then the use cases around that and how you're able to develop them and how people are supposed to be using them. Then that's what she should have said, I believe. Just speaking from experience and things, and based on what conversations I've had with some people, and I have friends that work in machine learning places, it's not how you use chat gpt. You can use it as a tool. Use it as a tool. It's a tool, so use it how it's meant to be used, and things like that, and just try to make your life easier. That's what the AI is here for.
That you have are likely transferable, and then you're also seeing in tech a lot of layoffs, but those people are, for the most part, able to find other jobs elsewhere, and so you're not seeing it really show up in the numbers. People may be going through layoffs, but they're able to find another option out there. Interesting mismatch. I know he mentioned AI. The other thing is a mismatch in remote work. Indeed pointed out this surge in people searching for remote work. There are not nearly enough remote jobs out there, so you're also seeing the impact of return to the office out there. Employers are not as eager to list those jobs that might be remote.
Key point. Kate Rooney.
So, yeah, that's another big thing, man. There's a lot of people who want to work remote, and that's why those positions went down. Like Elon, when he had the chance, he told everybody to come back into the office, and he wanted everybody to be more productive and things. And I can definitely agree as far as what they're saying right there is, if you're working in the office, or at least get some office time in before just working 100% remote, you'll be able to grow way better within your team, as an engineer and things like that. Being able to go into the office is so wonderful. I had to do something with my team in the office and had the chance to finally go into the office because I work remote most of the time. And it was a wonderful experience. And if I lived in the area, I would go into the office probably once or twice a week, guaranteed, just to be in a different space and things rather than my office and stuff. So it's an amazing experience. If you have a chance to go in an office in a hybrid scale at that set, it's quite nice to actually do. You don't have to like do it all the time. Just if you have something you're comfortable with doing, then I really suggest doing that and seeing how it all goes, because I'm telling you, give it a shot. If you give it a shot, then you'll know. And now we're going to go into more AI stuff. This episode has all been about AI so far, and we're really going through it all. And after this, we'll be about halfway done the show. As I said, this stuff, we might get longer episodes, but we're getting a lot more information. We're getting a lot more content, I said. So now we're going to dump into what Tesla has going on about their killer robot.
And the latest in AI horror from the real world, a robot attacked a Tesla engineer during a brutal malfunction. According to a 2021 injury report by Tesla, the shocking incident took place at Tesla's Texas factory. The 2021 report said that witnesses saw the robot pin the engineer working on nearby robots. A malfunction led the robot to sink its metal claws into the worker's back and arm, leaving a trail of blood across the factory floor. The details were revealed in Tesla's 2021 annual compliance report to the Travis County and federal regulators.
So this is one of the things that Amazon did good with their testing and things like that. That warehouse that Amazon had going on, if you could tell from the video, they had a lot of that stuff sectioned off to where the robotics were completely separate to where any people can go. And they were thinking about this stuff to reduce accidents. So I don't know what this engineer was doing. Being in there, he was probably really comfortable because everything's supposed to work how they're programmed, but accidents do happen. When you have technology like this around, like us and humans and people, real people, accidents are bound to happen. Stuff is bound to happen. It's bound to come up and things. So it's not 100% safe. Working in any environment probably isn't 100% safe, and things like that. There's no full guarantees, but something that Tesla should have done here is think about this kind of stuff and see how working with them can be, because as you can see, this is going to hurt them a lot.
Wound on the engineer's left hand. The report revealed that Tesla gave 0 days off to the injured worker for recovery. Such incidents raise concerns about the risk of using automated robots in the workplace.
So that's another crazy thing. The person didn't get any time off and things. And if this is the robot, as you can see, they're just trying to save a buck. It looks like they kept the person working, whatever, after getting hurt like that from a malfunction. And you see what the robots look like. They just want to replace people, and that's how it's going to be going everywhere. In every manufacturing place, they're going to try to replace people instead, and engineering stuff will go up, but jobs like that, they're going to go down crazy. And I wish there was an article on how bad warehousing jobs is going to collapse these next few years. And I'm sure we're going to see something like that soon.
At Amazon centers due to robotic coworker problems with killer droid surgeons and even violence from robotic chess instructors have ignited discussions about the swift integration of the new technology.
So, yeah, it's tough out here. It's tough out here. And Tesla is not like in any way winning because there's more news, and this stuff is way more recent than what's just happening there. But there's a lot of harm that can come from the robotics things happening, and basically having them around, and it probably wasn't handled in the best way at all. It definitely was not handled in the best way possible at all. And they just need to do better with controlling how they're going to work. If you're going to implement these workers in there, then it should be a warehouse that's mainly them, and the people can't get to the people. So you don't have to worry about that stuff, especially if this is something that they're trying to start up. I don't know why all of the tech companies are doing this in Texas. There's probably a good reason why. I don't know why they're doing it, but there's a good reason why, I'm sure. But they're doing this while their warehouses and manufacturing places in Texas, probably because they can get more space or whatever. But that is definitely tragic, and it's almost at a loss of words of all the possibilities and things that came from that, and all the trauma that that person's going through. Hope they're doing good. Hope that Tesla's doing the right stuff to make their environment safer for the workers, and they definitely help that person out, because I don't know that I feel like I don't get that didn't fully explain the full story, like, of what was going on and things. And I didn't hear anything specifically from Tesla, but that is scary. That's stuff that can happen. It's gonna continue to happen, I'm sure, as these companies try to integrate robotics with us in the workspace and things. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know how I feel about making them look exactly like people and stuff like that, but it's always given me a weird thing. It gives me like those iRobot vibes. That was one of my favorite movies back then, but it definitely gives me those kind of vibes, and it is definitely worrisome. But that's another reason why we need to have more people who know what they're doing and figuring out what they're doing and creating test cases with these situations a lot more frequently and doing them a lot more tests before this integration becomes a real thing and a full thing into society. So now we have some more juice on Tesla losing. Apparently, there's another company that's doing EVs better than Texas, and you wouldn't believe what that company is. And maybe you haven't heard of it.
It likes to describe itself as
BYD.
The biggest car brand you've never heard of.
Now, China's BYD has overtaken Tesla as the world's largest seller of electric vehicles. Even if you've never heard of BYD, there's a chance you've been in one of its buses.
I didn't even know they had buses in LA. Like, I've never heard of BYD before, but I never even knew all the stuff that they did. Like, when Tesla was working on their cars, I thought like, hey, who's doing all the commercial stuff? Who's doing all the commercial vehicles? Because that gives you so much power and things. But BYD stands for Build Your Dreams. And I guess they're definitely doing it because they just overtook Tesla. And I guess this is part of the team and things right here, but they are in this area. It's probably the team that works with them and stuff.
While its taxis prowl the streets of some of the world's biggest cities.
They have electric vehicles everywhere.
But buses and taxis aren't the reason why BYD has overtaken Tesla. Instead, it's a fruit of long-term strategic thinking on the part of BYD itself and the Chinese government. And it's setting China up to be the dominant global player in the transportation of the future. Electric vehicles, a business that could be worth $8.8 trillion by the end of a decade.
8.8 trillion. You know what I could do with $8.8 trillion? Be one of the richest people in the world. That's what I would do with it. This is wild. This actually gave me an idea, but I'm gatekeeping. I'm not giving you guys no ideas on stuff to build and stuff, because if I want to do it, then and you guys might beat me to it. So I'm gatekeeping on everything. Every idea I come up with, unless I've done it already and stuff, I'm gatekeeping it for right now. You guys will not know what it is, but $8.8 trillion dollars in a decade, building up to be worth that much, is crazy and phenomenal. And do you see all this? Like, they're beating Tesla for getting stuff across the world, and I don't even think they explain the full reasonings why just yet. But
here are the 3 most important things that have made BYD the king of EVs. The Chinese government has played a huge role in BYD's rise.
We've arguably never seen anything like this in terms of, the amount of support that China has extended to automakers, specifically pertaining to EVs.
Beijing has given an estimated $30 billion of tax exemptions to the industry since 2010, and may waive a further $97 billion by 2027.
China actually takes a carrot and stick approach. They set mandatory EV output targets for automakers, but they also offer cheaper loans and cheaper land and R&D subsidies to all those EV makers.
And BYD has been a massive beneficiary of that. It still sells most of its electric vehicles in its home market. But of course, Tesla has also benefited from Chinese subsidies, which is where
So China, their government alone is helping them a lot. But Tesla, I did hear stuff about Tesla doing work in China and getting a bunch of benefits from things being in there. But they actually are home there. So they got the home field advantage. They have all the advantages and things like that. And it's just going to get better for them there because they have a place to grow, and their government's giving them a place to like grow their wings and invest more money into themselves and put more money into it and make more money and spread out. Like it's crazy.
Second reason for BYD's rise comes in. most of BYD's cars are simply a lot cheaper than Tesla's. In fact, it sells 10 popular models starting from less than Tesla's cheapest.
10.
Offering for the Model 3 sedan.
So in the Model 3, there's a lot of different versions of it. I believe I drove. Was it a Model 3? I think I drove a Model 3 in Florida. I forget which model I drove, honestly. It's been so long. It's been like 4 or 5 months since I drove it. Hopefully I can still drive electric vehicles. I believe I can. It's not too big, but this is Tesla's cheapest car and vehicle. These 10 are BYDs. And the only place that they have to grow is up. Tesla worried about making all the luxury cars up here and stuff. BYD said, let me focus on all this stuff. All the little guys get all this. More people are going to buy our vehicles because they're a lot more cheaper. They're a lot more affordable. Probably easier to maintain. And they can make them cheaper for certain reasons too. I'm sure. Compared to what Tesla and what they're doing. Tesla has one advantage on why they're so successful, and that's because of Elon himself. He pretty much is the marketing campaign for Tesla itself. Because every time you hear him, everybody thinks about Tesla and they think about how great it is and stuff. But they have 10 vehicles BYD has 10 different vehicles that are all cheaper than Tesla's.
And BYD sells a lot more of the cheaper vehicles in its lineup.
They have very cheap models starting from $10,000 US.
Their approach has been extremely different in the sense that Elon Musk believed that you had to sort of start from the high end with a sexy performance car to get people interested in electric cars and then work your way down the price spectrum. BYD went at it from the other end, where it was about cheap taxis and buses that needed a heck of a lot of batteries, and really sort of, drove down the prices of the batteries that they could put into passenger cars.
While the average price paid for a Tesla is about $45,000, the average BYD sells for roughly half that.
And this is another thing we saw it recently too, about Elon and his business model and things. The Cybertruck just released, and then I did a whole episode on the Cybertruck. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's amazing. It is audio only. We didn't get to go into all the imaging and stuff, but if something new comes out about it, we will go into all of the details and stuff about it. Trust me, we will do it. We will do it. But one of the things about Tesla is the Cybertruck. They came out with their best 2 models already ready. They came out with their most 2 expensive models, and their cheapest model for the Cybertruck, you can't get yet. It's to be announced for all the information on it and things like that. They're not worried about making that stuff yet. But this is the thing, like BYD thought about the little people. Hey, we need to get all these stuff out there. How many buses can you get out there? You know how many buses run or are in those stations all the time? There's so many buses that go around in them stations. It's crazy the amount of buses that are out there. You know how many taxis that are out in different countries and things, or that can be in different cities? Can you imagine if BYD got a contract with Uber or Lyft, and people who work for Uber and Lyft can just use their vehicles instead of their own? Like, I get people using Teslas and stuff, but they normally charge more for the Tesla on Uber. So if you go on Uber, the Uber X's or Blacks or whatever they're called, those are like the Teslas. If you do anything in them, they're more expensive for the Tesla Ubers. BYDs, they will be in the regular Ubers, regular ones. As much as they cost, they be in the regular ones. More people get to be in them. More people get to see how they like them. More people will experience them if this became a thing. Especially if it came to America and they became big. Build your dreams. They're going to be building some dreams, all right. And their dreams right here.
That, of course, raises the question. How can they sell them so cheaply? The secret to that price tag lies in what is known as vertical integration.
Our vertical integration capability gives us the flexibility in the fast response to the market trend, as well as the better support for brand developing and customer service.
That's a fancy way of saying that they make a lot of the things that go into their vehicles themselves.
Car makers usually buy most components from
and I said this before about that whole scandal that happened with OpenAI when their CEO left and then he helped start an AI chip company, and then they ended up working with that company now, so they're able to get these cheap chips, AI chips, a lot cheaper than all their competitors are going to be doing. This is what BID's doing this on another level. They're building everything. They started as a battery company, I believe, and they just built up from being that company and just kept building up different steps until they have all the necessary parts that they mainly need to build their vehicles. And then now they put their vehicles together for cheap because the people who are making most of their stuff is for them. It's smart. It's really smart.
Suppliers such as Bosch, Continental, and Aptiv. Volkswagen, for instance, only makes 35% of the parts in its ID.3 electric car. Tesla, meanwhile, makes 68% of the parts that go into its Model 3 made in the US. BYD makes 75% of the parts that go into the Seal, its flagship.
So, Tesla was what? 68%. For their cheapest vehicle, they make 68% of their stuff. So it's not all of them, but BYD is at 75%. So with an additional 7% of making your own stuff in the cars, and these can vary by different parts. Like they can be making different stuff for different things or whatever it is. That 7% is keeping them making their cars way more cheaper. Or it could be two things. It can be one, it's aiding that much more to help make their vehicles cheaper. And then two, they're just not looking to upcharge that much more for people to get their vehicles.
Model.
So
the most important factor is that
BYD
is the only automaker that produces all of its batteries in-house.
That was hugely important during the pandemic when the supply chains were just absolutely
because they started
in a
as
state
a
of
battery
chaos
company.
For the industry. The fact that BYD was in control of its own destiny gave them a huge leg up over the rest of the industry. And especially as it pertains to batteries. This is a company that has been in the battery space since the 1990s.
BYD actually stands for Build Your Dreams. It started out in 1995 as a battery company. They make rechargeable batteries for mobile phones and other electronics products. And then the company got into the auto business in 2003.
Making its own batteries and other components helps it reduce a lot of costs. That's attracted some big-name investors.
Call it the continued BYD promotional roadshow, and investor Warren Buffett brought his buddy Bill Gates along for the ride here in Beijing.
It was fantastic. I'm amazed at the quality of that vehicle.
Warren Buffett was one of the biggest early investors in BYD through his holding company, Berkshire Hathaway. And the battery technology might also give BYD a technological edge over some rivals. It uses lithium iron phosphate, which is not only cheaper than other batteries, it's also packaged a lot more compactly. And chemistry is a core expertise of founder Wang Chongfu.
He's sort of the anti-Elon Musk. Wang is a chemist by training and an engineer, and an anecdote that one of our reporters was told was that when he was told he needed to dress up a bit for an investor meeting, he stopped to buy shirts just sort of off the street. And so he's far from one of the flashier executives in the auto industry.
比亚迪在这个电池和整车这个试验方面，我们一直做的比较领先，比较早。那我们在这方面的技术的话呢，也会沉淀的多一点。
They called him the anti-Elon Musk. Elon Musk. Don't tell him I just messed up his name. But I mean that is crazy. When you see stuff like that, you're just like, dang. And like, what more can you get from it? And one of the things that it's weird seeing certain stuff like this, right? Like a lot of news becomes public, but they basically gave a blueprint to so many other companies or startups that are trying to do this stuff and go into this space. Mind you, they're already light years ahead, them and Tesla, but they gave the blueprint on what to do with their batteries. How can you make them more compact? How are we going to be able to get them out there? And they're about to get more information on how they're going to go global with it. And there's so much more stuff I want to talk about, but episode getting kind of long, so we'll see how this ends.
This has all set BYD up to be the biggest player in electric vehicles. The question now is whether it can become one of the world's biggest car makers, full stop. And that means growing outside of China.
In 2021, BYD started to step up its global expansion. It started to launch more passenger vehicles across the global markets, including Middle East, Southeast Asia, and Europe. It's still a very new entrant in global markets. The volume contribution is rising, but still small.
Even so, BYD inside 3 years has become one of the top-selling EV brands in markets such as Thailand, Brazil, and Australia.
It also remains to be seen whether this company can, quickly grow in some of these newer markets that it's entering where it isn't well known, it isn't recognized.
The two most prominent challenges in BYD's global expansion will be first, regulatory uncertainties, and second, brand awareness. The European Union is investigating into Chinese EV subsidies. Chinese automakers, they are exporting more of their EVs into Europe because those cars are produced in China, so the production costs are pretty low, which allows the automakers to set their prices in the Europe cheaper than the European counterparts, which has been very alarming to the European auto industry.
One way around that will be to increase the amount of local production.
Definitely, localization is one of the very important strategy of BYD's Europe.
So they figuring out how to do it, honestly. BYD is something to look forward to. I think they really are gonna do it. I didn't even hear about them until this news came out, and I saw this news, and it's crazy because of how much they've grown in such a when they did their global takeover thing, let's say, they've taken so much stuff. They've done so much alone with all of it. And it's really surprising. It's really dope. It's good to see that somebody took it from another approach. Elon took it from this approach. They took it from this approach. And they somehow found a way to be in the middle, and they kind of beginning to overtake them. And it's something that Elon might need to start worrying about. Elon, if he wants to stay ahead of this, I feel he would have to be the person to sit there and say, hey, how can I get my vehicles out to more people, and what kind of vehicles I produce? They working on buses, taxis, all of that. They probably gonna be working on electric scooters too, and all of that. Electric bikes, they probably gonna have it all. Beyond with the cars and stuff like that. So one thing that Elon has to do is try to find a way to make Tesla more than a car and trunk. They just now got to their trucks, and Rivian's up there now and stuff. Rivian's doing stuff. They making vans for Amazon. What is Tesla doing besides making their Cybertruck and their different kind of cars and their luxury vehicles and their sport vehicles and all of that other nonsense? What is Tesla really doing besides that? He needs to find more ways to get them to more common people, increase the market, how many people have Teslas in the market, get more contracts with certain companies so that they only use their vehicles and the Tesla vehicles, because this new world of EVs is going to grow, and this is going to be the new Camry. BYD going to have the new Camry. I'm calling it here now. They said even the European cars and stuff, they overtaking that market because people want these vehicles more. They want an EV. They're way cheaper. They're making them in-house. They're making them local, doing all the manufacturing in China and stuff, and then shipping them out. They're not doing the making them over here, making them over here, making them there, making them there. They're not doing all of that. They're not keeping it all to themselves. They're figuring it out, and then they're shipping it out right now. And the demand is only going to increase for them. And they might be an investment because that is a crazy take on tech and stuff. And let's see how much time we have. Should we go over some more stuff? I feel like we can go over some more stuff. What to go over though? I have a few more topics that I really want to talk about. And we'll see. They might not take too long. So as you guys know, Apple made it to number 3 on my list. And it's convenient that a lot of the companies that I talked about are on my 2023 list are being talked about in 2024. We had Amazon already. Mind you, that was an older situation though, but from last year. But it was to explain stuff. So we had Amazon, we had Rivian, and that same Amazon video. We had Tesla because their incident and because BYD also is overtaking them. And now we on Apple. And as you can see, it's the Vision Pro release. So it's going to be available on February 2nd. And pre-orders are going to begin on the 19th on Friday. So they gave us quite a heads up. Like, this came out on the 8th, so they gave us about 11 days notice about pre-ordering it. But this is an expensive item that they're coming out with. So on the 2nd, they're going to be giving them to everybody. So if you have any of your apps that, if you were working on a Vision Pro app right now, go get it done. Go hurry up and get it done. I need to get mine done. I've been wasting time. But like February 2nd, by February, I want to have a good benchmark on mine. Mine's is a lot more complicated. It takes a lot more work. What I'm envisioning and what I'm trying to get done, it's something. It's something, and it might change some stuff. So I have my app that I'm working on. If you have an app, hey man, get it done. Get it done. Because it's gonna be on the App Store too soon. And do you want your app to be on the App Store? One thing that I want to say is, and it's funny, they put all their videos in here as well too from the event, but one of the things I want to say is $3,500 is so much money. I feel like these are going to be bought mainly for certain reasons more than they're going to be bought for phones, but at the same time, this is something that's more powerful than a phone. But maybe not so much as you could say it's more powerful than your laptop too, because of what it's providing you and things on that sense. So you will be able to, like, you're getting a whole new experience. People pay $1,500, $1,800 on their phones now. People are spending $2,000 on laptops. Shoot, people are spending more on PCs. I don't know how much I spent on my PC to build it and things. So if this is something that is going to, if this is something that could get better and you can upgrade the parts and maybe and things, maybe that's why they made it $3,500, because they know people are going to buy it. It seems expensive, but they know people are going to buy it. People buy their phones every year at $1,500 or more. People buy their MacBooks at $2K, maybe more. And this is something that's a new product and things like that. There was something nice in this article. I actually did see they're coming up with, they said they gonna have over 250 games in this, 4K TV. You're gonna be able to watch all your shows and things. Be able to use more productive apps. So you're gonna be able to use Slack and Microsoft in here. I wonder how that's gonna work out, how it's gonna look, because I feel like the app that I'm working on, it fits more into this productivity category. So, and more productivity and creativity category, I would say, that what I'm working on. And it's a cool concept, honestly. Like Meta Quest has their own little Oculus thing going on, but I really think this is like such a clean concept. And if you use this and it looks just like how this video does, for instance, it's a beautiful sight. It's awesome. It's good to look at. You're gonna be able to do all your stuff on it. It's just a pretty penny. It's just like it looks clean. I didn't see any news. Last year I talked about how it was giving people neck problems for like wearing it too long. I didn't see anything where they lightened it up a little bit. Maybe they did, because I don't remember this side being cloth. I thought it was the same material right here. So they probably changed the material to make it a little bit lighter on the sides. I don't remember exactly, because I didn't cover the Apple event for almost 9 months now. And I'm just showing all their... This is going to be weird. If I look at somebody with this, I'm going to feel like they're not looking at me at all. Even if their eyes are showing, and it's not even their real eyes, mind you. It's just the camera. It takes when you scan your face, it takes in what your eyes look like. And so that people can see that you're paying attention to them and things. That is going to be a weird feeling for me, because I feel like I'm not going to be able to like feel like that person's in the same space as me to have conversations and stuff if I was able to do stuff like that. So we also have, this is what I was looking for. So for 256 gigabytes, it doesn't seem like a lot of storage at all that's on here. For 3,500, it'll be available all throughout the US and you can buy it online. These, since I wear glasses, this only makes it more expensive and stuff. So if I was to get this, I would either need their optical inserts. So I think this is so you can wear your glasses with them, or it can snap in. But if you want to add readers, it's an extra $100. And then if you can get getting your prescription in this is actually a dope idea. So you don't even have to wear glasses. You can just, it's way more convenient. I feel you don't have to wear contacts or your glasses. You can just throw it on. It has your prescription already in there. $150. I feel like that's good value, especially if this is something you're using frequently. If this is a device you use frequently, it might be worth the money, but that is what it is. I wish it came out in more colors. I wish it came out in way more colors than it does. Reason why I'm not buying one off the rip is for two reasons. One, I'm gonna get a developer kit so I can test my app on that I'm making. If you want to know more about it, we can see when I reach certain benchmarks, maybe I can start giving you more information and things. And then the second thing about this is I feel like they're going to make this better. And they're going to make this better, make the better version come out for $3,500. Next year, they're going to have another one come out for $3,500, $3,600, something like that. This one's going to be costing 3 G's at that point. And you're going to have a better version out there with multiple colors and choices and things, because that's what Apple does. If you don't know what Apple does, that's what they do. So if you are going to get one of these, let me know. I'm really curious about it. Are you going to be wearing the Vision Pro? What do you think about it? All of that stuff and beyond. But as you can see here, that's just my take on it as a whole product and things. I think it's a good idea. It's definitely something that's revolutionized, and it's definitely a new product for Apple. When's the last time we seen something fresh from them? The Apple Watch came out how long ago? Their laptops came out how long ago? Their phone came out when I was in middle school. We're on iPhone. It came out like 17 years ago, their first phone, I believe. 17 years of their iPhone or whatever, apparently, stuff has been going out for. So, I mean, this is something fresh. This is something new. And there's a lot to it. And we have one more thing to talk about. Just one more. As I said, they're gonna get long. Next week there's a event going on, so we're gonna talk about that event next week. Gonna try to get that all done. It comes on at a certain time, and who knows how long it's gonna be. So I have to be very prepared for it. See where else we can watch it and things like that. And if worst comes to worst, I may have to push it out a week and make something else for next week, just so times can come out. Stuff can be out at the right time, or I just don't sleep that day. I may not be sleeping that day, but we'll see. But last but not least, some cool stuff was shown, and I'm gonna show you what I mean.
Welcome to Sony. PlayStation has been the leader in gaming innovation for decades. Today,
first off, that snippet, I'm laughing because it just shows everybody just take their phone and they just go like this, and they just start recording. Like instantly, you see everybody just go like this. Just see them just bring their phones all the way up, start recording. They're not even enjoying the moment. This is already being recorded. Maybe they don't know and stuff, like, but this whole event, I'm sure, is recorded somewhere. And this was on the day one. And PlayStation and Sony have came out with so much stuff at the CES event for 2024. It's been going on. There's a lot of cool stuff coming out of it. We're going to just get some of the clip notes and things. So let's just dive in.
We are happy to announce a new solution for spatial content creation with a crisp viewing experience and intuitive interaction for 3D design. We are enabling creators to shape and edit 3D models. We are expanding the creation space by overlaying virtual objects into physical spaces. With seamless access to virtual objects, creators can work in real space with an immersive development experience. There is another space with an opportunity to bring more creativity, the mobility space.
First, allow me to bring the latest prototype on stage.
So I just want to go back real quick. That is dope. What they just showed right there. This is a dope thing. It sucks you need so much headgear and stuff like that available for this, but like as I said, this is something that's really dope. It's cool. You are be able to manipulate 3D objects and stuff like that. I'm almost lost on words and things because you can bring out your creativity and stuff, but I wonder, does it depend what all of these systems depends on? As you can see in this video, the dude has a computer in front of him. Can he take this away from the computer and be molding this stuff somewhere else and things? And like, can you make it, like, how is it really being made? Do you need to have a computer up and have the headset connected to the computer? Can you just do this on the headset alone? And you seeing some other information through the headset, or are you only seeing the model through the headset? That it looks like you only see the model, but this person's using the computer in front of him as well too, that he may be able to see.
An opportunity to bring more creativity, the mobility space.
First, allow me to bring the
And they coming
latest
out with a
prototype
car?
on stage. But today, I will be using this. This is a PlayStation controller, DualSense.
This dude just drove a car. He just drove a car on stage with a PlayStation 5 controller. With one of these. He just drove a car on stage with one of these things. One of these. A game controller. So that means you better get them Forzas. If you want to have this, you better get all them car games. Make sure you don't crash. You better be an expert. Because if you hit me on the road with one of these cars, I'm going to be so mad at you. It's not even going to be funny. You are better at using your hands and using the steering wheel, and you should not be using no controller. If you hit me, we're gonna have a problem. We're gonna have a problem. We're gonna have a problem. You're gonna have to see me in Call of Duty or something. On the game, we're gonna run up a 1v1 quick scope. So you can pay for my damages. Cause that's crazy.
I'd like to talk about two topics. AI for ADAS and mobility as a creative entertainment space. Afira uses advanced sensing devices with image sensors, LiDAR, and radar. Here, we compare object detection using a traditional CNN or convolutional neural network and vision transformer. As you can see, it's difficult to see hidden people behind the vehicle in backlight or the truck in front of you at night. We are developing the ADAS simulator utilizing gaming technology of Epic Games. Although it looks real, everything is recreated in the virtual space. From here, I'd like to talk about our...
So that's wild. They're taking a new approach to this. A lot of people seen like the sub accident that happened last year, him controlling it with a controller and things, and people thought it was crazy. Sony took that to another level. They're using their video game technology on how you drive in the video games and putting it in the real world and having AI do all this crazy nonsense so that you're able to see what's going on appropriately, so the car can see what's going on appropriately and go on that. I wonder if this is going to be street legal, and how hard it will be and where this is being released from, because this is my first time seeing this full video, and like, this is a crazy experience using gaming logic to get better. I feel like this is something that's going to come out a lot more. Companies are going to be able, especially gaming companies, are going to find this new realm of being able to bring stuff from gaming into the real world so that you have more realistic feelings and doing things in the real world that you can do in video games, and they're using that to help with certain stuff. So this could be good or it could be bad.
Initiative to involve mobility as a creative entertainment space by combining the ADAS simulator with AR. In addition, map data can also be used to broaden the possibilities within the development of gaming and entertainment features. We utilize the gaming engine, Unreal Engine 5.
And they use Unreal Engine 5?
The latest Unreal Engine 5.3. To do so, we plan to establish diverse development environments to foster creative community among users and creators, allowing access.
Alright, this is actually dope, because I haven't seen any car company, not Rivian, not Tesla, none of them have this kind of customization inside of the car just yet, with being able to change the screens. Maybe you can, but I haven't seen it. If you've seen it yourself, Tesla, you'll be able to change the background to like some Starry Night photo or some Apple screensaver. Let me know. Let me know that I'm wrong, because I haven't seen it yet. And this is getting better. I haven't seen it. Some companies can learn from some of this.
Access to vehicle data, driving data, and other related information in order to realize unique ideas.
So we're going from buttons on a screen to conversational and multimodal, from siloed apps and manual integrations to integration by default. Instead of the in-vehicle experience feeling like a separate state, you can now bring your...
Oh, I think I understood wrong the entire time. So the controllers are so that when whoever's driving can be used for whoever else isn't driving, they can play a game or whatever by using what's going on with the car. That's why they brought the monsters on the street and stuff like that, so that whoever is playing the game can do whatever they're doing with the controller in the car while the person is driving. That's what I believe it actually is instead, not the controller driving. It would have been crazy if the controller was you were driving with a controller. That would have been
Your
crazy.
digital life into the vehicle with you. For mobility, safety and security for the customer and their data are top of mind. We believe the AI systems must be responsible by design.
Today, I have shared two topics: AI for ADAS and mobility as a creative entertainment space. We will continue to evolve technology, aiming for the transformation of mobility lifestyle. Please stay tuned. Thank you.
Thank you for being.
Man. As you see, 2024 is starting with a bang. It ain't going out with a bang. 2024 is starting with a bang. You have so much stuff going on with AI and these vehicles now, EVs, and all these different companies and robotics. It is wild. So it's crazy. If we're starting like this, I'm excited for what the rest of the year is to bring. What kind of events we'll get to see, what kind of more information we'll get, and things so that we can talk about this, because this is something. This is definitely something, and I'm not scared of it. I think we should embrace it. We should figure out the best ways to go about this, though, because as I said, there's incidents that do happen, there's accidents that happen, and as long as stuff goes about the best way, I think we're gonna have a good year for technology. But thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Dev Talks. Hit that like button, subscribe for free, and you can even comment and share for free too. No charge at all. Get this out there to all your favorite people, all that. If you're into tech, engineering, whatever. If you want to stay up to date on certain stuff and get another viewpoint on it, especially by another engineer, this right here is your place. Also, don't forget, if you have any hot takes, if you made it this far and you have any hot takes, drop them in the comments below, because I'm going to be going over hot takes. I'm going to make a whole segment for hot takes, and we're going to go and take it by storm. So thank you guys for tuning in this week. See you guys next week. Peace out. Be safe.